Hey, got a question for you. Can you score points in fantasy football without actually touching the football? No, you can't. You gotta get touches. And from the wide receiver and tight end position, how do you get touches? You need targets. You need volume. You need opportunity. But there's a difference in targets. You have the basic old generic stat targets, and then you have catchable targets, a stat that no one ever talks about. Why are catchable targets more important? We're talking about it right now. Did you know that when a quarterback feels pressure and just throws the ball away on purpose, just airmails it out of bounds so nobody else could get it, did you know that the closest receiver is credited with a target? There's no way that thing was catchable. It probably hit a water girl straight off the dome on the sidelines. However, a receiver, a tight end, a running back got credited with a target on that pass. What about when a quarterback's under pressure and they just throw the ball at the feet of a receiver to get rid of it so they don't take the sack? Yep, you guessed it, that's considered a target as well. But our brains are conditioned in fantasy football to chase volume because we know we have to have touches to score points. But why does everyone always look at targets when we probably should be looking at catchable targets? Because I want those guys that can go out there every year and find themselves 100 plus catchable balls, if you know what I mean. In 2022, there were 33 wide receivers that had over 100 targets and 4 tight ends as well. That is 37 players at either the wide receiver or tight end position that had over 100 total targets last season. But how many of them still had over 100 catchable targets? The answer to that question is crazy. It's 11. 11 out of 37 players on this list actually had 100 catchable targets in 2022. Now, I don't know about you, but 30% isn't very good. I mean, 30% are like the odds of winning a fantasy football championship if you go to other channels and look for counseling. But let's take a look at the 11 players that had those 100 plus catchable targets. We had Justin Jefferson at 134, Hill at 127, Kelsey at 119, Diggs at 117, Lamb at 114, Davante Adams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God, hashtag Doomtar in the chat, and Chris Godwin, all with 109. Then we had Michael Pittman at 106, Devontae Smith at 103, and DK Metcalf with 101 catchable targets. But when you look at this list, a few of these guys have some off-season storylines we need to pay attention to. Justin Jefferson. Technically, Kirk Cousins is a free agent. Do they bring him back to Minnesota? I have a feeling they do. Tyreek Hill. What is their quarterback situation in 2023? We know that Tua was sidelined the end of 2022. They've already come out and said he's going to be the starter, but what does the offseason hold for Tua? What about Davante Adams? He left Green Bay to go to Las Vegas to play with his former college quarterback Derek Carr, who is now no longer going to be a Raider. What happens in Las Vegas? Do they bring over Tom Brady? If they do, that'll affect Chris Godwin, who's on this list as well. And if we have no Brady, we're in for a world of hurt in Tampa Bay. But what about Michael Pittman? He had horrendous quarterback play in 2022. It can't get any worse in 2023, right? That's actually a good sign for Michael Pittman. But if you take these guys off the list, it leaves you with Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra, Devontae Smith, and DK Metcalf. But everyone knows that Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, even guys like CeeDee Lamb, they're safer high-end players, right? They're gonna go in the first 2 rounds. But which of these guys can you get the cheapest on draft day? Amon-Ra, Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf, and honestly, it's still going to be Michael Pittman, depending on what they do this offseason with the quarterback position. Michael Pittman could be in line for a huge discount in 2023. These are 4 guys that I have a feeling I'm going to own a lot of in 2023, but they're not going to be my number 1 guys. We're going to have that luxury of getting those solidified studs early and then filling in the middle rounds with guys like this that are absolutely going to make our fantasy football football teams unbeatable in 2023. If you enjoy content like this, where we dive into different stats, you have found yourself a home. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, but don't forget the most important thing, do your part to make the world a better place. We'll talk to you later.